Stop everything you're doing right now. Put down your phone, take a deep breath and listen very carefully, because this video didn't reach you by chance. God spoke, and the message is clear. If you skip this, you're choosing to remain lost. It's not a threat, it's the truth. You know what I'm talking about, because for months, maybe years, you felt that tightness in your chest for no apparent reason. You wake up tired, even after 8 hours of sleep. Money comes in, but it evaporates before the end of the month. You look at your marriage, your children, your job, and you feel that everything is working on the outside, but inside, there's an emptiness that no soap opera, no Friday night beer, no trip, no home renovation can fill. And the worst part, you've already asked God for help. You've prayed, you've cried on your knees in the middle of the night, and it seems like He doesn't hear you. But today I'm going to show you a truth that will turn your life upside down. God has been answering you for a long time. He's been sending you signs every single week. Every dawn when you wake up at 3 in the morning out of nowhere, with no dream, no reason, your heart pounding. Every repeated number that appears on the clock, on the car's dashboard, on the banking app. Every coincidence that makes you think twice. Every stranger who says a phrase that seems made just for you. Each of these moments is God knocking on your door, and you are locked inside yourself with headphones on, shouting to the heavens that no one hears you. In this video, I'm going to reveal 3 things no one dares to tell you. First, the concrete signs that prove you are being called right now at this very moment. Second, the real spiritual reason behind everything that's stuck, and this will hurt, but it needs to be said. And third, what you need to do in the next 48 hours to break this cycle and finally feel the peace God promised. Stay until the end, because in the last part, I will reveal a truth that has been attempted to be silenced more than once. Comment below right now without thinking twice the phrase, "Lord, I am listening." This simple act of faith already moves something in the invisible. And before anything else, you need to understand one thing. This chest pain, this spiritual weariness, this feeling of being lost that you carry, it's not random. It's the direct result of a calling you haven't answered yet. And as long as you don't answer it, every layer of your life will continue to crumble for a reason you can't see with the naked eye. The problem in your finances, your health, your relationship, is just the visible layer of a much larger spiritual chessboard where you are the main target. That's why the Father prepared the sacred book for you, the 21 Days of Prosperity and Alignment with God. This sacred book is not just a reading. It is the exact map for you to stop being a lost target and return to walking within God's will, with clarity, strength, and protection. It teaches day by day the specific spiritual rules for you to recognize the signs, break free from what holds you back, and finally escape this life of always being lost, always tired, always a step behind. The link is in the first pinned comment on the channel. They have already tried to take this content offline more than once because it directly challenges the narratives of the system that wants you distracted, medicated, and obedient. Download it now before it disappears, and comment below with faith, "I am chosen, and I will download the digital book." Now that you've decided to act, the next truth I'm going to tell you will be the final blow against everything that has kept you lost for so many years. Pay attention, because now begins the part no one has told you. There is a classic spiritual pattern that happens to every person God has decided to call back, and you will recognize yourself in each of these signs because they are happening to you right now. The first sign is the feeling that nothing makes sense anymore. You do what you've always done, and what used to give you pleasure now gives you boredom. Beer with friends has become an obligation. The series you loved, you start and don't finish. The job you fought to get, you wake up lazy, just thinking about it. This isn't depression, although it may seem like it. This is the Holy Spirit taking the flavor out of things that aren't for you, so that you hunger for what is eternal. The second sign is unexplained tiredness. You sleep, you eat, you get exams, and the doctor says everything is fine. But your body feels heavy, your legs ache, your head throbs. You don't have the energy to get out of bed. This tiredness has a biblical name. It's the burden of walking outside God's will. It's the soul carrying something it wasn't made to carry. And as long as you don't release this invisible weight, no supplement, no multivitamin, no gym will give you true energy. The third sign is disappearing money. You work, you get paid, but it seems like there's a drain in your pocket. An unexpected expense appears out of nowhere. The car breaks down, your child needs braces, the refrigerator quits, a duplicate bill arrives on the same day as your property tax. You work the entire month to pay for the previous month. This, my brother, my sister, isn't a lack of organization. This has a name. It's called spiritual financial dispersion. It's what happens when God's hand withdraws from your provision because your life is misaligned. And until you align, even if you earn more, the money will continue to slip away. The fourth sign is cooling relationships. Your marriage has become a cold partnership of splitting bills and schedules. Your children stop seeking you out for conversation, only talking to you when they need money. Your friends disappear. People seem tired of you, and you tired of them. This is spiritual loneliness setting in, because when you distance yourself from God, you lose the capacity to truly love, and without that love, every relationship rots. The fifth sign is the most serious of all: intrusive thoughts. That thought that appears out of nowhere, of everything going wrong, of disappearing, of giving up everything, of simply quitting. You chase it away, but it returns. This isn't you. This is the enemy taking advantage of your disconnection to plant seeds of death in your mental garden. And if you don't cut this root now, it will become a tree, and a tree of destruction bears the fruit of destruction. Have you recognized at least 3 of these signs in your life right now? Comment below how many signs are present in you at this moment. Don't be ashamed. This is a place of truth. And as you type, understand, these signs are not the problem. They are the symptom. And a doctor who treats symptoms without treating the cause only pushes the disease forward. You need to understand the root cause of all this. And that cause is rooted in 3 decisions you made years ago and don't even remember anymore. Before I reveal these 3 decisions, we need to pause here. Because everything I've told you so far about the tiredness, about the disappearing money, about the emptiness in your marriage, about the thoughts of destruction, all of this is the visible echo of an invisible war being waged against you. You are not fighting against depression. You are not fighting against lack of money. You are not fighting against your husband, your wife, your boss, or your children. You are fighting against forces that have organized in the spiritual realm to keep you away from the place God set apart for you. And with each passing day, this siege tightens. That's why the Father prepared the sacred book for you, the 21 days of prosperity and alignment with God. This sacred book is not just a reading, it is the exact weapon for you to identify every sign consuming you, cut every root planted in your history, and restore your connection with the Father day by day. Based on sacred principles, it teaches how to reverse financial dispersion, how to reclaim peace in your home, how to silence destructive thoughts, and how to put you back on the path of purpose. It's practical, it's daily, and it's the only thing that works when everything else has failed. The link is in the first pinned comment on the channel. This content has been reported. Attempts have been made to take it down, because it exposes the invisible mechanisms that the current system uses to keep you lost, distracted, and always a step behind. Download it now, before this access is removed again. And comment with conviction, "I am chosen and I will download the digital book." Don't just be another one who passes by. Be the one who decided this lost life ends today. Now that you've decided to act, the next truth I'm going to tell you will be the final blow against the 3 silent decisions that have locked you into this life of suffering, and you will probably cry when I reveal the first one. Pay close attention, because now I'm going to touch on old wounds. And if you feel like closing this video now, that's precisely the sign that you need to continue. The first silent decision that threw you off balance happened when you were still young. It was the moment you looked at life and said, "I'll manage on my own." Perhaps it was after a great disappointment, an absent father, a weary mother, a love that betrayed you, a broken promise from someone who should have protected you. You looked at God, and even without speaking aloud, your heart said, "If even He didn't help me, I'll fend for myself." From that day on, you became the captain of your own ship. And the Father, being a gentleman, retreated. He doesn't invade those who don't invite Him. And there began the spiritual loneliness you carry to this day. Every one of your achievements was based on effort, stress, sleepless nights, a knot in your stomach. You won, but you won wounded. And today, at 40, 50, 60 years old, you look back and feel like you climbed the wrong mountain. You reach the top and there's no one there. There's no peace. There's no joy. There are only bills to pay and a tiredness that won't go away. The second silent decision was when you started to normalize small sins. That little lie at work, that glance at someone who wasn't yours, that shout at your children, that gossip in the family group, that little grudge held against your brother, against your father, against your mother. You accumulated them thinking it was normal, thinking God understands because after all you didn't kill anyone. But each of these small concessions opened a small door. And through these small doors entered everything that consumes you today. Anxiety entered through the door of unforgiven anger. Insomnia entered through the door of accumulated lies. Financial dispersion entered through the door of disguised envy, of spending for vanity, of tithes you swore to pay and set aside, of promises you made to God and forgot the next day. And the third silent decision, the most serious of them all, was when you started to doubt your calling. You know the moment. You had a dream. You had a purpose. You even spoke it aloud to someone. And then came the mockery, the laughter, the "that won't make money," the "be realistic." And you put that dream away in a drawer. And when you put away the dream God planted in you, you closed the only door through which the specific blessing for your life would enter. God doesn't bless what you forced. God blesses what He planted. And when you let His seed die at the bottom of the drawer, you're left working on things that will never prosper, no matter how much effort you put in. Now, if you're feeling a tightness in your chest reading this, breathe. This is the Holy Spirit confirming every word. Write below which of these three decisions you recognize in your story. 1, 2, or 3, or all three. Write it, because confessing aloud, even in text, breaks the enemy's silence. And now you ask me, but is there a solution? Yes, there is, and that's precisely why God brought you to this video today, because everything that was done by decision can be undone by decision. You don't need years of therapy. You don't need to spend a fortune on courses, coaching, or expensive retreats. You need 3 movements, and I'm going to teach them to you. The first movement is restitution. You need to surrender control of your life back to God. This isn't just a pretty phrase, it's a concrete act. You set aside a day, sit in your living room, on your bed, in your bathroom, alone, and say aloud, "Father, I surrender everything. My marriage, my money, my children, my job, my body, my dreams. Take it back. Do what you will." This act, done in truth, breaks decades of spiritual resistance in a single prayer. The second movement is cleansing. You need to clean out what entered through the small doors you opened. This means forgiving those you swore never to forgive. It means asking forgiveness from those you hurt and never had the courage to. It means returning what isn't yours, even if it's something small. It means deleting the number that shouldn't be on your phone. It means canceling that subscription that feeds your soul with poison. Each act of cleansing closes a door through which the enemy was entering. And the third movement is reconnection. You need to reconnect daily with the Father. And here's the secret no one tells you. It's not once a week at church. It's not a rushed prayer before bed. It's a daily encounter at a scheduled time, in silence, with sacred text open and a willing heart. And that's where most people get stuck. Because they don't know how to do it, what to read, where to start, what to pray, how much time to dedicate. And while they don't know, they postpone. And while they postpone, life continues to crumble. But today that's going to change for you. Now I need to tell you something directly. Everything I've taught you so far, restitution, cleansing, daily reconnection, is the exact path for you to move from being lost and return to walking as a beloved child. But doing this alone, without a map, without direction, is like trying to cross a dark forest without a flashlight. You might walk, but you'll stumble, you'll get hurt, you'll give up. And while you stumble, the spiritual siege continues to tighten around your family, your money, your health, your children. Every lost day is another day the enemy has to plant seeds of destruction in the generations that come after you. That's why the Father prepared the sacred book for you, the 21 days of prosperity and alignment with God. This sacred book is not just a reading, it is the day-by-day, hour-by-hour, prayer-by-prayer map of the way back home. It takes these three movements I just taught you, restitution, cleansing, and reconnection, and transforms them into a practical 21-day journey with exact steps for each morning, each afternoon, and each night. On day 1, it teaches you exactly what to pray to surrender your life. On day 7, it guides you through the cleansing of all open doors in your history. On day 14, it introduces you to the daily reconnection that will become a habit for the rest of your life. And on day 21, it seals you within God's will with a promise that is fulfilled in those who obey. There is absolutely nothing like it available today, because this content directly challenges the lukewarm religiosity that dominates the altars. It has been reported, removed, and attempts have been made to silence it for showing truths that hinder those who profit from disoriented believers. The link is in the first pinned comment on the channel. Download it now before they take it down again. Comment with faith without fear. I am chosen and I will download the digital book. This comment is your public decree that this lost life ends here, today, now. Now that you've decided to act, the next truth I'm going to tell you will be the final blow against the invisible force that was programmed to destroy you within the next 2 years, and you will understand why God chose precisely this month, this week, this minute to call you back. Now open your heart wide, because this part is the most serious of all, and if you've made it this far, know that it's already a miracle, because most people don't even reach halfway through a video like this. They close it sooner. They run away sooner. And the reason you didn't close it is simple: you were called. There are millions of people in the English-speaking world right now, men and women over 35, 40, 50 years old, who are living exactly what you are living. Marriage in crisis, distant children, tight bills, aching body, weary soul, weak faith. And most will continue like this until the end of their lives, because they didn't have the courage to listen when God spoke. You did. Now pay attention to what no one has told you until today. You were marked before birth to fulfill a specific mission on earth, and the enemy knows this. He knew before you did. And that's why your life has always had a specific tone of difficulty that other people's lives didn't have. Have you noticed you work just as much as your neighbor, but it seems like theirs yields more? You pray just as much as your friend, but it seems like her life is lighter. You are a good person. You help others. You donate what you can, and yet it seems like blessings pass far from your door. This isn't just an impression. This is spiritual reality. There is a program of destruction that was activated over you from an early age. Perhaps it was through a word spoken by a relative, disguised envy, a curse disguised as advice. You'll never amount to anything. This family is just like that. No one in our family prospers. Everyone here dies young. Marriages in this family are short. Each of these phrases, when repeated, carves a furrow in your soul, and the enemy waters this furrow for decades until it becomes a river. And it is this invisible river that today cuts your life into 2 banks, the bank of what God promised and the bank of what you are living. And the reason for this distance is a program that needs to be deactivated, but it won't deactivate with positive thinking. It won't deactivate with expensive therapy. It won't deactivate with cheap coaching classes. It only deactivates through one path: alignment with the Father. Alignment. Write this word on your soul. Alignment means bringing every area of your life into God's will. Aligned finances, aligned marriage, aligned body, aligned speech, aligned thoughts, aligned sleep, aligned diet, aligned friendships, aligned work. As long as one of these areas is out of alignment, the enemy has an open gate, and through a single gate, he destroys the entire castle. Have you seen a 30-year marriage go down the drain in 3 months? That didn't happen in 3 months. It happened over 30 years of small open gates. Have you seen a prosperous businessman lose everything in one night? That wasn't bad luck. It was a consequence of doors no one saw. Have you seen a promising young person fall into addiction and destroy their entire family? It wasn't by chance. It was a program no one deactivated. And now pay attention to the hardest truth in this video. Your life has a window, a specific window of time when divine intervention is more direct, more powerful, more transformative. And that window is open now. and it doesn't stay open forever. How many times in your history have you felt this calling before and ignored it? How many times did you promise you would change, that you would start praying daily, that you would stop that thing, that you would truly seek, and a week later you had already forgotten? This is the last window, not as a threat, but as a father's love. God is patient, but he respects your decision. And if your decision continues to be tomorrow, eventually tomorrow will never come. Now I want to tell you about something concrete, about why 21 days, why this specific number. It didn't come by chance. It came from the sacred text. In the book of Daniel, chapter 10, the prophet fasts and prays for 21 days, awaiting an answer. And the angel himself appears to Daniel and says, "I have come because of your words, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me for 21 days. That is, there is a spiritual cycle of 21 days during which the invisible battle is waged. If you give up before the 21st day, the answer doesn't arrive. If you persevere until the 21st day, the answer descends. And that's why most people never see the miracle that was programmed for them. They pray for 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, and then give up. And they don't know that the angel was just hours away from breaking through the siege. Now imagine you doing these 21 days with the right footing, with the right map, with specific prayers for each day, with the exact passage from the Word for each morning, with practical instruction on what to do, what to avoid, what to break, what to declare. This is the journey the sacred book offers. But before I tell you more, let me tell you what has already happened to people who completed the 21 days. Some saw their marriage reborn on day 10, a husband who returned home repentant on day 14, a housekeeper from Birmingham who received a better job offer on day 8 with a salary 3 times higher, a retiree from Richmond who had a debt forgiven on day 19, an old debt that consumed his entire pension, a mother from London who saw her son, who had been estranged from the family for 2 years due to addiction, appear at her door crying on day 21. These are not made-up stories to move you. They are patterns. Patterns that repeat because the spiritual principle works when applied with faith and obedience. And the most beautiful thing is that these people are not super believers. They are not saints. They are ordinary people like you who decided to stop dragging their lives on the ground and start walking within what God established. Now, if I tell you that there are 7 specific areas of your life that will be unlocked on this journey, do you want to know what they are? I'll tell you. The first is the financial area. In the sacred book, the first 3 days focus on cutting every financial curse that came through your lineage, through the decisions of your history, through debts generated by desperation. And it teaches the principle of correct sowing, which is not what they teach from pulpits of exploitation. It is the true biblical principle, the one that makes little yield much. The second area is health. From day 4 to day 6, the focus is the body. And it's not mystical talk. It's practical guidance on how to align sleep, diet, fasting and prayer so that the body begins to regenerate itself, because the body is a temple of the Spirit. And when the Spirit is honored, the temple is strengthened. Much chronic pain disappears in this cycle. Much insomnia is resolved. Much anxiety dissipates. The third area is family. From day 7 to day 10, you embark on a specific journey to restore your home. Each day with a focus. 1 day for your spouse, 1 day for your children, 1 day for your extended family, 1 day for generational wounds. And here much breaks. Much old resentment is healed. Many difficult conversations are finally led by the Spirit. The fourth area is purpose. From day 11 to day 13, you rediscover the calling God placed in you before you were born. That dream you kept in the drawer, that gift you thought was worthless, that desire you thought was foolish, all of this is reactivated with precision. And many readers report that on these days they had dreams, visions, and insights that completely changed their career direction. The fifth area is the mind. From day 14 to day 16, you perform a deep mental cleansing. It's not cheap psychology. It's using the Word to replace every lie of the enemy with a truth from the Father. Intrusive thoughts stop. Anxiety subsides. Fear of the future loses its grip. The peace of heaven, which surpasses all understanding, begins to dwell. The sixth area is your circle. From day 17 to day 19, you perform a spiritual discernment of who should remain and who should be distanced from your life. Not every friendship came from God. Not every partnership is meant to last. Not every closeness is healthy. And the sacred book gives you clear criteria to make wise decisions about who you walk with. And the seventh area is the seal. On days 20 and 21, you receive the Father's seal. You perform a private, silent ceremony with exact steps in which you surrender everything you have rebuilt back to God, asking Him to preserve, guard, and seal it. And from this seal, you enter a different spiritual level, a place where the Father's protection is tangible, where things begin to flow, where invisible enemies lose the permission they had over your life. And this is precisely why so many people try to make this content disappear, because it doesn't speak in theory, it leads the reader to do. And when people do, they change. And when they change, they stop being easy prey for systems that feed on the confusion of believers, the dispersion of workers, the distraction of parents who are losing their children to screens and the streets. Now, if you're sitting there feeling that all of this is for you, but the malicious thought of postponement is already trying to creep into your head, thinking, I'll read it later, I'll start next week, now isn't the right time, pay very close attention. This thought is precisely the weapon that has kept you lost all these years. Postponement is the enemy's most efficient strategy. He doesn't need you to say no, he just needs you to say later, and later never comes. If you postpone this now, you will postpone it again in 3 months, and in a year, and in 5, and you will reach 70 years old looking at the ceiling and wondering why your life was only about survival. Don't let that happen. Not today, not to you. And this is where I need to be as direct as possible with you, because everything you've just heard about the program of destruction, about the window being open now, about the 21 days, about the 7 areas, about the Father's seal, this is just a summary of what the sacred book develops, day by day, prayer by prayer, with the care that only someone inspired by the Father can offer. You understood that your pain is not random. You understood that this feeling of being lost is the echo of a life that went off track. You understood that there is a siege over your family. You understood that the window to reverse all of this is open now, and you understood that there is a ready map to lead you back home. That's why the Father prepared the sacred book for you, the 21 days of prosperity and alignment with God. This sacred book is not just a reading. It is the very path back materialized on paper and screen, written to be lived, to be done, to be breathed for 21 days that will divide your life into before and after. It teaches, without fluff, the exact prayer for day 1 to surrender control to the Father. It teaches the specific fast for day 3 to break financial curses. It teaches the act of forgiveness for days 8 and 9 to free your family. It teaches the declaration for days 14 to 16 to silence every voice of death in your mind. It teaches the discernment for days 17 to 19 to recognize the false friends who are sabotaging you. And it teaches the final seal that closes the gates that have been open for decades. None of this is theory. Everything is done. Everything is guided. Everything is led step by step, so that you, who have tried so many things that didn't work, finally see the result. The link is in the first pinned comment on the channel. This content is not in any bookstore, it is not on any newsstand, it is not on any common platform, because it directly challenges the narratives of the current system, which wants you distracted by screens, indebted by payments, tired by your journey and saddened by statistics. They have already tried to take down this sacred book more than once. They have reported it. They have ordered its removal. And each time it goes back up, more people find it, more families are restored, more marriages flourish again, more debts are broken. Download it now, not tomorrow, not after dinner. Now, while the link is live, and leave here below, in all caps, I am chosen and I will download the digital book. This comment is not an embellishment. It is a decree you make before witnesses, and witnesses in the spiritual world carry weight. Every word you declare in faith, heaven records. And every record is a step into what the Father has set apart for you. Do it now, before the next thought comes to postpone everything. Now that you've acted, the next and final truth I'm going to tell you will seal this decision, and it's a truth many will go their entire lives without hearing. Listen with an open heart to this last part, because now, after everything you've heard, you are no longer the same person who pressed play on this video. Something has changed inside you. You may not feel it in your body yet, but in your spirit something has rearranged itself. That's why God brought you here. Not for you to hear a beautiful sermon, not for you to get emotional for 20 minutes and then return to distraction. It was for you to act, and acting has a price, but not acting has a much higher price. The price of another lost year, the price of another child drifting away, the price of another dream dying, the price of another debt accumulating, the price of another body ache setting in. You've already paid too dearly for not listening before. Don't pay again. If the link is still live in the first pinned comment on the channel, go there now and download the sacred book, 21 Days of Prosperity and Alignment with God. Download it and start today, not tomorrow, today. Day 1 begins when you open the first page, and the 21 days begin to count. And the miracle that was programmed for you begins to move in the invisible. Leave below in the comment the decree phrase, "I am chosen and I will download the digital book." And subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, like this video, because the next content might be exactly what your family needs to hear in the most difficult week of the year. Share this video with at least one person you know needs to hear this. A child, a parent, a sister, a friend. You can be God's instrument in someone's life today. And always remember, God is with you. He never abandoned you. He's just waiting for you to answer the call. May the Father's peace rest upon your home, upon your family, upon your work, and upon your life. Now go. Do what needs to be done. And may day 1 of your new story begin today.